Hey y'all, this is going to be part 2 of my series on the before and after tarot. And today I decided that I'm actually going to do 2 cards as my focus for today. And I picked these because they are my significator cards in the tarot. So what's a significator card? That's a really fancy word to just say a card that represents you and your energy. Now, there are all different opinions on how you figure out what your significator card is. Sometimes people will choose based on their astrology. Some people will choose based on just personality traits. Some people will just ask their deck and see what card comes out. But for me, my best advice on that is the minor arcana of the tarot is broken into 4 suits, and each of those suits relates to an element: earth, air, fire, water. My best advice is if you want to figure out what your significator card is, go with the element that you're most drawn to or that correlates with your astrology the most. And that will help kind of guide you in the right direction. For me, personally, I have a significator card that I resonate with in the major arcana. And at some point in the future, I'll explain major and minor arcana. Not really going to fit into this video, probably. But my card that I resonate with from the major arcana is the Star. I picked this because my sun sign is Aquarius, and that is what the Star is associated with in the tarot. But I also just resonate with the idealism that is associated with the Star card as well. And this, you can see the Aquarius, the water bearer image is on this card. So we will discuss that further, but my minor arcana significator card is the Queen of Swords. And I picked this one because I am an Aquarius, so I'm an air sign, feminine, so queen. And the Queen of Swords is very much about truth. She's a seeker of truth, a speaker of truth, and that's her main thing. Air signs tend to be very intellectually oriented and also a lot about thinking and of the mind, and also expressing and communicating and speaking, which tends to be me. So, that being said, I want to take a look at how the before and after tarot adds to our images of these 2 cards. So like I said, the Star card here, when I pull this for people, this usually indicates a wish is about to be granted. But it's also about asking for our wishes to come true. So having the belief and the faith and the hope that what we hope for our lives can actually come to be. You can see she's watering the water and watering the ground. And for me, those symbols are about the fact that we need to tend to our inner world, as represented by the water, our spiritual connection, our emotional world. But we also have to tend to our physical needs and our human experience. So she has to water both equally, otherwise she's going to be out of balance. I really love this. So the before tarot takes this lovely naked woman. Aquarius are a little quirky, like to push the norm a little bit rebellious. So a naked woman is kind of cool with me. I also think bodies are beautiful, so I'm not offended by this imagery. But I love this. The Star card here on the before tarot shows her gathering the water. Maybe the bird can represent receiving divine insight or divine wisdom. So she's kind of pulling her energy in before she shares it outward, which I kind of like that image here. And then it progresses here to then watering these 2 areas, bending down, sticking 1 foot in the water. And I love this. The after tarot puts her fully submersed, completely just pouring that water over herself. But look, she's also continuing to water the earth. So it's remembering, and I kind of like this progress too, because here it's almost like she's collected this water. She's going to nourish the earth and nourish the water. So it's kind of like something that she's sharing outside of herself. But then the last image is she gets to benefit from the ways that she has shared her wisdom, insight, nurturing, whatever she is, whatever that pouring of water symbolizes to you. She gets to enjoy that pleasure for herself as well. So reaping the rewards of her kindness and the ways that she's tended to and cared for others outside of herself. And it's almost like this idea that if she is feeling in her power, if she is aligning with her purpose and path, that also assists and uplifts the planet and the earth and others around her. So I think these images are really, really neat. I like it a lot. Okay. And as for the Queen of Swords, I love this progression here. So here we have the Queen of Swords. This is from the Before Tarot, being offered that crown by this cherub, and her sword is not drawn. So I feel like this almost, for me, this symbolizes her receiving divine insight, receiving the truth, collecting knowledge. Then the next step is her wielding that sword. And it looks like almost like she's maybe speaking to a crowd or giving that knowledge to others with authority. So we have to gather that information, receive the divine insight, then we can speak with authority. And look at this. Then in this image, it's this butterfly landing on the tip of her sword, almost as if she's finished what she has to say. She has brought truth to the world in the ways that she was meant to. And for me, butterflies symbolize a rebirth. So now she gets to kind of become a new version of herself. She gets to, again, it feels like receiving a divine gift because of her mission of speaking up and speaking out in the world. And I sort of love how even as I'm speaking, I didn't really realize this till I started talking. This progression is very similar to what I talked about with the star. Almost this idea that you receive a divine mission, you share it with the world, but then you also get to benefit and reap the rewards of that so that you can keep on giving. So it's like this cycle of giving, receiving is really important to have that balance. And when you're a speaker of truth, you really want to make sure that you're also receiving so that your battery's charged to keep going. So I think I'm going to leave you with that. Oh, one more thing I do want to talk about. The blue colors here as well. For me, blue is associated with the throat chakra. So again, all about that communicating messages. And bringing this light of truth into the world. That's what the star and the Queen of Swords really are about to me. So I hope you enjoyed this and have a great rest of your day.